I never expected that the young man who came to help me set up my coffee maker would end up in my living room, where I had carelessly left some of my toys and intimate clothing on the couch. That simple moment changed everything for me. I thought I was going to have a quiet day alone, but thanks to a guy named Jake from the store, my life took an unexpected turn. Let me share the whole story with you. I'm 60 years old, divorced for the last 15 years, and have been living by myself ever since. Like anyone, I had my own personal items that were significant to me. I used them so often that I became blind to the fact that I sometimes left them out in public view. I guess it was a way for me to cope with the loneliness I felt. That morning started out normally. I just wanted to buy a coffee maker and continue my day. But when Jake showed up to help, everything shifted. Jake was just 23, full of youthful energy and enthusiasm. As he entered my home, holding the coffee maker box, his curious gaze swept across the room. That's when he noticed my toys and personal clothing on the couch. To me, they blended in with my living space, but clearly they caught his attention. With a light smile, he commented, "You live alone, don't you?" I felt my face turn bright red from embarrassment. It was a sudden and awkward moment. Here, I thought a simple delivery would happen, but now my privacy was breached. I wasn't used to sharing these personal parts of my life with anyone, and it felt like my bubble of solitude had burst. I nervously asked Jake, "Please, let's forget you saw all of this." My voice shook as I spoke because it felt as if everything I had built around my life had crumbled in an instant. He looked at me kindly and said, "Whatever you say, but you know some things are hard to miss. They want attention, just like you do." His words flustered me even more. I turned away slightly, feeling vulnerable, and ended our conversation awkwardly. I realized how unprepared I was for this interaction and how it highlighted my loneliness. If you want to hear more about experiences like this, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications for more stories. I have a feeling you won't be able to hold back your thoughts after hearing this. Let's chat in the comments below. I'm really eager to know what you think. With his usual friendly and sincere vibe, he continued speaking. "It's completely normal to feel this way when you live alone," he said, his eyes glimmering with enthusiasm. "We all have our needs, but sometimes even that isn't enough, right?" I could tell he was placing special importance on his words at the end, as if he wanted to connect with me in a bold yet gentle manner. Our eyes met for a brief moment, and in that instant I felt a unique spark between us, an unspoken attraction, a quiet intensity. I could sense Jake's warm gaze on me, and with each second that passed, we seemed to grow closer. Every word he spoke struck a chord within me, making me realize that my feelings were changing. "I noticed it the first time you came to pick up the coffee maker," Jake said, a strange light in his eyes. "You gave me a feeling I've never felt before." I hesitated, searching for the right words. My emotions were a whirlpool, but the urge to resist this connection felt nearly impossible. "You did the same for me," I replied with a small smile. "Otherwise, I wouldn't have accepted your help or let you into my home." While I said this, deep down, I knew my feelings ran much deeper. Jake had somehow captivated me. His presence, the way he spoke, his relaxed charm, it made it hard to hide my true feelings. After a moment of silence, I finally said, "I've been in these jeans and this shirt all day, and they're starting to feel tight. I need to change into something more comfortable. Feel free to make yourself at home." Jake's eyes remained on me as I tried to look away. It was challenging because I felt an undeniable attraction. The space between us seemed to shrink with each heartbeat. Upstairs, I changed into a sleek, figure-hugging dress and freshened up my makeup before heading back to the kitchen. When I came down, I noticed Jake standing near the living room door, his gaze on me, whether intentional or not. For a moment, I stood there, hesitating and letting my mind race. I thought okay. "Young man, your intentions are clear, and it feels like I'm winning the lottery here, so let's see where this goes." Acting like I hadn't noticed him watching, I confidently stepped toward him. In a lighthearted tone, I playfully asked Jake if he was single, had a girlfriend, or spent his nights by himself. As I gazed at him, I felt a spark inside me. Being so close made every word and glance feel significant. I noticed the excitement and shyness in his eyes, and a smile appeared on my face. "If you finish getting the coffee maker ready, let's brew some coffee and chat. You can tell me all about yourself," I suggested, only slightly aware of the slight shake in my voice. Moving closer to him, I felt warmth growing within me, and I couldn't help but be drawn in by everything about him. Jake took a seat, but seemed restless, trying to find a comfortable position. Meanwhile, I scooted my chair right next to his, feeling a rush of awareness as my skirt shifted slightly. I noticed how his eyes drifted, stopping just shy of meeting mine, and felt the genuine attention behind his gaze. Trying to keep things light, I playfully asked if he was growing impatient, waiting for our conversation. Yet, there was an undeniable tension building between us. Slightly flustered, but maintaining eye contact, Jake asked me how old I was, his voice carrying a mix of surprise and admiration. He even joked that he thought I was 50, which sparked a sparkle in my eyes. Was he truly implying that? It was oddly flattering, and I couldn't help but grin. "Do you like 50-year-olds better?" I teased, raising an eyebrow as I watched him closely. Each moment between us seemed to tighten our connection, fueled by the electricity in the air. Jake quickly clarified that he didn't mean it that way. He just thought I looked young and beautiful. His compliment warmed me, but the closeness made me feel a bit uneasy. As silence settled between us, I took a deep breath and finally asked, "Do you have a girlfriend? Are you alone? How do you spend your nights?" I was eager yet nervous about his answers. Lowering his voice, he looked directly into my eyes and simply said, "I'm alone." In that moment, I sensed he was genuinely alone, and it felt like the kind of loneliness he might not have wanted. We held each other's gaze, and I felt something shift within me. As my emotions became clearer, I realized I had to take a chance. This night wasn't going to go the way it had started. I spoke with a firmer tone, determined to get my point across as I locked my gaze onto his. Every word I uttered felt significant, and I realized that everything was about to shift. "Jake, come here," I said, lowering my voice, making it sound more welcoming. I gestured toward the bedroom, then turned, confident he would follow. I could hear his footsteps behind me, and I noticed his breathing had quickened a bit. As we entered the bedroom, Jake hesitated just inside the doorway. His shoulders were tense, but his expression showed he was curious and expectant. I turned to face him directly and asked, "Jake, are you ready?" My voice remained calm and steady. I took a step closer and added with a gentle smile, I have experience, as you can see. There's no need to be nervous. I placed a soft hand on his shoulder, feeling him relax slightly, yet I could sense the excitement building within him. In that moment, Jake's youthful enthusiasm met the confidence I'd gained through my own experiences. I slowly slid the straps of my dress down my shoulders, letting the fabric glide against my skin as it pooled at my feet. I could feel Jake's gaze on me, mixed with awe and curiosity, combined with a hint of desire. Something stirred within me, but I maintained a calm expression. Moving closer, the silence around us felt almost intimate. I lightly brushed my fingertips against his cheek and paused, allowing him to take the next step. Jake hesitated for a moment, but then leaned closer, his determination and excitement evident in his eyes. His hands found their way to my waist as he drew nearer, and at last our lips met. His kiss was filled with the bravery of youth and a touch of inexperience, but that innocence only pulled me in deeper. I gently pulled back and walked over to the bed, taking my time as I sank onto its surface. The coolness against my skin sent a shiver through me, amplifying the anticipation within me. I glanced back at Jake, who still stood uncertainly by the door. "Jake, come here," I called softly, gesturing him to join me. I ran my fingers along the bed, indicating the empty space beside me. "Lie down. There's nothing to be afraid of." Slowly, Jake approached and carefully laid down next to me. It felt like we were both holding our breaths, the atmosphere thickening with each passing second. I turned to him and placed my hand gently on his chest. "Have you ever thought about this moment? Imagined it?" I asked softly. Jake kept his gaze steady, his eyes unwavering. "More than just imagined it," he admitted, his voice low and slightly shaky. "But I never thought it could actually happen." In that moment, all our doubts faded away. We were connecting on a deeper level, not only physically, but emotionally as well. Neither of us was sure about where this was headed, but I knew one thing for certain. The excitement I felt with Jake was something I had been longing for. As I lay next to him, that thrill blossomed into a surge of courage. I propped myself up slightly at the edge of the bed, focusing my gaze on him. I stood up gently in front of him, leaning in a little from where I was. Our eyes met, and I could see a mix of surprise and hope in his face. "Jake," I said softly but firmly, "tonight, we are not alone." He swallowed hard but kept his gaze steady on mine. His silence told me he understood the significance of my words. I noticed him gripping the edge of the bed, but his eyes showed increasing bravery. I leaned closer, cupping his face with my hands. "Let's just enjoy this moment together," I whispered, moving my lips nearer to his. "Don't question anything, and don't be afraid." I could feel his breath quickening, yet he didn't pull back. In that instant, we were both breaking free from our loneliness, finding solace in one another's presence. Jake's breaths were quick, and it seemed like he was trying to absorb every detail, wanting to imprint this moment in his memory. He hesitated for a moment, but then placed his hands on my waist, displaying both courage and uncertainty. That initial hesitation faded into a powerful desire that I struggled to contain. I felt the weight of the moment pressing down on me as well. "Jake," I whispered, my hands gently stroking his face, "this feeling is overwhelming, but it's beautiful." He didn't look away as he responded in a deep, trembling voice. "I feel the same way, but isn't this all moving too quickly? My emotions are so intense, and it's breathtaking. You can probably tell I've never experienced anything like this before. A smile crossed my face as I leaned in and placed a light kiss on his forehead. Jake, sometimes life is sweeter when you don't overthink things. Just embrace the moment and don't hold back. His expression showed he was considering my words. Then, slowly, he moved his hand from my waist upward, drawing me closer to him, erasing the space between us. As our breaths mingled, I felt a shift. This could be a pivotal moment in our lives. Before long, Jake, breathing heavily and completely surrendering to the moment, embraced what I had suggested. It was incredible, and afterward, as I lay beside him, he looked genuinely happy, as if he had finally let go of all his worries. His strong arms wrapped around me tightly, bringing me close. My head rested on his chest, where I could hear the calming rhythm of his heartbeat, a sound that was both soothing and exhilarating all at once. Without even realizing it, I found my fingers softly exploring the patterns on Jake's chest. He breathed in deeply and said in a quiet voice, "Brittany, what I'm feeling right now is unlike anything I've experienced before. I've never felt this calm and at peace." His tone was both sincere and a bit surprised. I smiled, but didn't look him in the eyes, instead resting my head comfortably on his chest. "Really?" I whispered softly. "Yeah, really," he replied, skillfully moving one hand to my back and drawing me closer to him. I've spent my whole life chasing after something, never stopping to enjoy a moment like this. But being with you right now makes everything feel worthwhile. His words filled me with warmth as I listened to the steady sound of his breathing. I responded, "Jake, just being here with you makes me feel something special, something I haven't felt in a long time." Jake gently ran his fingers through my hair, a soft smile on his face. "I think we've given each other what we've both been needing," he said thoughtfully. I lifted my head a little to look at him, and the honesty and relief on his face told me everything I needed to know. "Then let's just keep it like this," I suggested. "Let's soak up this moment together." Jake nodded slowly in agreement, and without exchanging any words, we stayed wrapped up in each other's arms, letting the warmth of the moment embrace us. Outside, the quiet and dim light felt as though it existed solely for us. I rested my head back on Jake's chest, closed my eyes, and surrendered to the peacefulness surrounding us. As I relaxed, a thought crossed my mind. What if I asked him to stay with me? Imagining him filling this house with life, turning the quiet corners and lonely nights into something vibrant, made everything feel brighter. I didn't know where this would lead or what adventures awaited us, but one thing was certain: our story was just beginning. If you've made it this far, I hope my story has resonated with you. There's so much more to tell, and you won't want to miss what comes next. So, hit that follow button, turn on notifications, and leave a comment about what you think. I'm excited to hear your thoughts, and your support truly means a lot to me. Let's chat in the comments.